Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We won't have time to play it, but I just watched it before I went live on this Sunday edition. It is the 21st day of September 2014. It's not our top story, but it's pretty interesting. Video, The Singularity, featuring Ray Kurzweil and Alex Jones. It's a pretty hilarious comedy piece put out, and RT aired it. Just letting you know that's up there because it happened to remind me of it when I saw it being posted to Infowars.com. That I just told Kit Daniels, who's in here working on Sunday, to post it, and I saw it go live. So if my voice sounds like it's blown out more than usual, I spoke at Casey Research last night down in San Antonio, down at the Hyatt, to a packed hall of mining executives, manufacturing executives, you name it, the people that actually employ Americans. And they were executives from all over the world. They're meeting to discuss how to survive during an economic implosion, not just here, but on a planetary scale. And the intel from all of these men and women that I was talking to is that it's not a question of if, but when. And perhaps tomorrow, when my voice is back during the 3-hour radio show, I will break down some of the intel I learned there. I gave an hour-long speech. I did start screaming a little bit, something that the executives weren't really used to, but they told me they liked it. So that happened. I am a little bit tired, but folks know that I'll get my second wind here in just a moment. Where to start? Just incredible speech on the Senate floor Friday by Senator Rand Paul. Here's the headline from Infowars.com with the video. 600 tons of weapons given to Syrian rebels last year made ISIS stronger. That's like saying that a bear crapped in the woods. We gave 600 tons of weapons to Syrian rebels in 2013 alone, Paul says. We gave. And that's what is upsetting the system, is that they want to just arm al-Qaeda, change the name to confuse us, and have everybody just go along with it. But General Dempsey said that our allies are arming ISIS last week in hearings last Monday. And now Senator Rand Paul's talking about it. If this issue ever fully gets out there, the American people, it could bring down the entire system, which is good because the system is designed to basically implode the economy, implode the country. And it's designed to create a controlled implosion through which they get full power. So we need to implode their implosion. We need to preempt that to save the republic. So we've got that stack of news coming up and a very powerful report. We were able to find the entire al-Qaeda cross swords hour-long jihadi video that I haven't seen posted anywhere else. Former Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs, who's fought these people repeatedly in 2 different countries, did a special report on that we're going to be airing. And that integrates him with Rand Paul's speech. It's a 45-minute speech. We're going to air the first 6 minutes or so of it coming up in the next segment. Extremely powerful, as I said. And I am going to air a lot of reports today because my voice is just gone. I make it a little bit better here in a moment. In fact, I'm not just plugging. I just remembered. Wait, Lung Cleanse helps me. I don't see my Lung Cleanse. My Lung Cleanse is over there on my counter. Somebody give him the Lung Cleanse before I forget. Thank you. Appreciate that. Or I guess I can just get up during the 1-minute break and get it. Thank you. So that I can maybe come back and have my voice on the other side. Thank you so much, Nico. So we have that information coming up today. Rand Paul blisters Obama and Clinton, calls for GOP diversity. Really big report here. ISIS drives Texas-made Toyota trucks, apparently modified for U.S. Special Forces. Obama faces heat over prospect of expanded war. CIA's anti-Syria program finances Wahhabist head choppers. We've got huge explosions happening in Ukraine. We're going to break that down and more. Tell folks how you got introduced to Super Male, and then when Super Female came out, tell us what happened.
After I saw such a huge positive change in my husband, I had to try it for myself.
Talk about the effects.
I feel great when I wake up in the morning. I have drive to go to the gym. I feel like I look better. I feel better. I feel sexier. I love it.
Even if you don't believe in supplements, take the challenge. Get a bottle of Super Male, a bottle of Super Female. Check it out for yourself. Consult your physician. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today. This is life-changing.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds. Is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
We now take you live to the Central Texas Command Center in the heart of the resistance. You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
That's right, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting worldwide, 4:06 and 20 seconds Central Standard Time on this Sunday, the 21st day of September 2014. I am your host, Alex Jones. And we have our great crew, Nico and CJ and Wes and others in here doing a superlative job. I want to thank them and thank you all for your support and your prayers. I, again, am your host, Alex Jones. Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com are just two of our big news websites. Thank you again for joining us and following us on Twitter at @RealAlexJones. Our Twitter followers are real. They came to me about 6 months ago and they said, we can buy 1 million Twitter followers for like $5,000. And I said, no, I don't want 1 million Twitter followers. I want real ones. And I'm not knocking my social media crew. It's just that's what people do. 90-something% of the White House Twitter followers are fake. Most of Piers Morgan's are fake. I guess for his $3 million, he must have paid $15,000 or something. I mean, I don't know that. Even though they've had news articles that have scanned the White House one and others and shown the vast majority, 9 out of 10 or more, are fake. No, I don't want fake Twitter followers. You know, Matt Drudge doesn't want them. He's got 500,000 on one and 300,000 on another. I've got 300,000 on mine. I've got real Facebook people of about 3 million because I got into that early. I came to Twitter late. But no, I mean, I want real Twitter followers at Real Alex Jones. I don't want to send tweets out to fake stuff. It's kind of like people that play Second Life. And that's what they're into, and they want to own a Lamborghini, imaginary Lamborghini. They want to have the supermodel girlfriend that's imaginary. Well, I don't really want a Lamborghini or a supermodel girlfriend. What I want is liberty and freedom and to have a country and a world my children can grow up in. And the Common Core universe of 2 + 2 = 5 is the equivalent of a Second Life, Fantasyland, Matrix presidency, and I ain't buying into it. That's what this comes down to. I want the real thing. Speaking of the real thing in Fantasyland, colliding, total BS colliding with the cold, hard truth, Rand Paul came out Friday in a powerful 40-plus minute speech that's up on Infowars.com right now, and he said that 600 tons of weapons given to Syrian rebels last year made ISIS stronger. That's 2 + 2 = 4. And it's also on the news being reported that ISIS drives Texas-made Toyota trucks made for U.S. Special Forces. Yeah, they haven't seized weapons caches. They've been given these. Video, ISIS terrorists openly commute on subway in Istanbul, Turkey. Turkey's openly giving them artillery support to invade the country. They're allowed to just ride around with their weapons on the bus terminals, but no one else can. You can't have guns in Turkey unless you're Al-Qaeda. Then you're totally left alone. So we've got that. Meanwhile, Obama faces heat over prospect of expanded war. The left doesn't want him to attack Al-Qaeda. Well, don't worry. He's not. General Boykin, former head of Army Special Forces, said it's a fake operation last week in World Daily. They're blowing up a few trucks. They're not killing anybody. They're not fighting al-Qaeda. Saudi Arabia runs it. Our government armed them. They've turned them loose all over the Middle East and Africa. That's what's happening. And because Rand Paul and InfoWars and others exposed it, and Ted Cruz and others, they're being forced now to act like they're fighting al-Qaeda. And then they can even let al-Qaeda attack us again, and then they'll just take more of our freedoms and grandstand. That's what we've decided to be, is a nation of pure lies and fraud. I love America, but let's admit what we've become. Let's admit what a joke this is. Now, let's go to about 6 minutes of the speech from the start with Senator Rand Paul breaking it down, pointing out the reality. How dumb do they think we are that they openly fund and run this group? And now even General Dempsey last week admitted this in Senate testimony to the Armed Services Committee, and Lindsey Graham got hopping mad because the facade is collapsing. The smokescreen is clearing. Here is Senator and hopefully President Rand Paul.
Madam President.
Senator from Kentucky.
If there is a theme that connects the dots in the Middle East, it is that chaos breeds terrorism. What much of the foreign policy elite fail to grasp, though, is that intervention to topple secular dictators has been the prime source of the chaos.
Oh, they know that. They
did it. To Assad, to Gaddafi, it's the same history. Intervention topples the secular dictator, chaos ensues, and radical jihadists emerge. The pattern has been repeated time and time again. And yet what we have here is a failure to understand, a failure to reflect on the outcome of our involvement in Arab civil war.
No, Wesley Clark admitted it's a secret plan.
Nature abhors a vacuum.
It's on purpose.
Radical jihadists have again and again filled the chaotic vacuum of the Middle East. Secular dictators, despots who frankly do terrorize their own people, are replaced by radical jihadists who seek terror not only at home, but abroad. Intervention when both choices are bad is a mistake. Intervention when both sides are evil is a mistake. Intervention that destabilizes the Middle East is a mistake. And yet here we are again, wading into a civil war. I warned a year ago that involving us in Syria's civil war was a mistake, that the inescapable irony is that someday the arms we supply would be used against us or Israel. That day's now. ISIS has grabbed up from the U.S., from the Saudis, from the Qataris, weapons by the truckload. And we are now forced to fight against our own weapons, and this body wants to throw more weapons into the mix. Now, even those of us who have been reluctant to get involved in Middle Eastern wars feel now that American interests are threatened, that our consulate, that our embassy is threatened. And we feel that if ISIS is left to its own devices, that maybe they will fulfill what they have boasted, an attack on our homeland. So yes, we must now defend ourselves from these barbarous jihadists. But let's not compound the problem by arming feckless rebels in Syria who seem to be merely a pit stop for weapons that are really on their way to ISIS. Remember clearly that the president and his Republican allies have been clamoring for over a year for airstrikes against Assad. Assad was our enemy last year. This year, he's our friend. Had all those airstrikes, though, occurred last year in Syria, today ISIS might be in Damascus. Realize that the unintended consequences of involving ourselves in these complicated 1,000-year-long civil wars
Saudi Arabia
leads to unintended consequences.
Damascus.
Had we bombed Assad last year, ISIS would be more of a threat this year.
That's the plan.
ISIS may well be in Damascus had we bombed Assad last year.
That's right.
Had the Hawks been successful last year, we would be facing a stronger ISIS, likely in charge of all Syria and most of Iraq.
They're not Hawks, they're traitors.
Intervention is not always the answer and often leads to unintended consequences. But some will argue, no, it's not intervention that led to this chaos. We didn't have enough intervention.